Hello everyone and welcome to a new vlog. I honestly just turned off the camera from filming another vlog where I was reading like 3 books that I was really loving, and I just finished this one this morning and new all-time fave, absolutely adored it. I feel like by this point you might be sick of hearing me talk about this book because like I just loved it so freaking much that I'm probably going to be talking about it a lot. But now I'm like, what do I read next? Like, I have no idea what I want to read next because I just loved these books so much that it's like, how do I top these books, you know? Like, where do I go from here? So that's going to be one of the first orders of business for the day. But because I kind of neglected all responsibilities yesterday to finish the book I was reading yesterday, and then this morning to finish reading this one, I really need to hunker down and kind of get some work done before I actually decide what I'm going to read. But first order of business, because I have washed my face, I've gotten all ready, I've gotten all dressed, like that is my signal that the day is starting. I am going to make myself some breakfast because I'm feeling pretty hungry, and that sounds really good right now. So there's been kind of a break in the rain and like storminess. It is still obviously overcast and it's supposed to rain later, but it's still humid, so like the pool is warm. So I wanted to come and do a little swim because if you watched my last reading vlog, I have been doing so much reading in the pool. Like I've just been laying on a floaty and enjoying a book, but I still don't know what I want to read. Like, I don't know. I kind of was starting an audiobook. I started listening to Island Time by Georgia Clark, but I wasn't really getting into it. I don't know. Then I decided not to go with that one. And then I brought From the Jump by Lacey Walden for a physical read. But I don't know if this is actually what I want to read. Like, this is the problem when I read something that I really, really love. I find it so hard to pick up another book after and like decide what I want to read because I'm kind of like still thinking about that book too. So I don't really know what I want to do. So I think I'm just going to take like a quick swim to kind of cool down and then maybe see if I can do some work on the deck because I love working there, but it's just been obviously raining, so that hasn't really been a possibility. If not, I do actually have a lot of video editing that I could do, but I did some this morning and like the video that I edited, it's huge, like the file's huge because I recorded it in 4K and I realized that's not gonna work. So that is just uploading right now. So I'm just leaving my computer so then it will go a little bit faster. But when that's done, I will try and get back to some editing. But I do really want to decide what I'm gonna read because I don't know. Oh well, we'll figure it out. For now, we relax. I still haven't really read anything. Well, that's not true. I did end up actually picking up another self-help book. So I ended up finishing with The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown, and I did enjoy this one. It's not my favorite. I don't know. I felt like my expectations were higher because I've heard such amazing and incredible things about Brene Brown, but maybe it's just like this book wasn't necessarily for me. I don't regret having read it, but I feel like it didn't really like teach me anything that I hadn't learned anywhere else. I don't know if that really makes sense, but it was fun. I don't know. I don't really have strong feelings about this one, but this was a really quick read. But I still haven't picked a fiction book to read because I feel like The Wishing Game has like ruined me. It has ruined all other books for me because I'm like, nothing is going to be this good. So I can't even decide like what audiobook I'm going to listen to, what physical read I'm going to listen to. I don't know. I have this stack of books here, and these are kind of the books that are interesting me the most right now, but it's also hard for me to even see what I have in my book collection at the moment because my office is an absolute disaster, which is a whole other thing and will be a whole other video. But I have these books here, and they are definitely the ones that are like sticking out to me the most, but I still cannot make a decision about which of these, if any of these, I want to read. Yesterday, I did end up deciding to just kind of take the day and not like pick up anything because I needed some time to recover from my last read. I felt like if I was trying to force myself to read anything, it wasn't going to work. So I just didn't. I had kind of like a chill day, but I do really want to like get back on reading because it's going to be nice out again today. The pool is going to be warm, so I want to sit out there and read something, but I don't know what. So anyways, the stack of books here, we have Ink, Blood, Sister Scribe by Emma Torres. There's probably a way you pronounce that with the accent. Please let me know if you know, but this is like a estranged sisters sort of story and a magical book collection. But I feel like I've been reading like a lot of metafiction, a lot of books about books lately, so maybe that's not the vibe after finishing The Wishing Game, since that one was also a book about a book. Then we have The Celebrants by Stephen Rawley. This is by the author of The Guncle, and I loved The Guncle so much when I read it, so maybe this would be a good one. This is the latest by this author, and it is like friends who have known each other for a really long time but haven't seen each other, and they're kind of estranged, and then they end up getting back together for like living funerals. It's college friends. I don't really know if I'm explaining that very well, but maybe this one. And then we also have The First Right Thing by J.R. Dawson. I love circus books, but I find oftentimes they do kind of let me down a little bit, so I'm hoping that this one obviously won't, but we'll see. And then The Daydreams by Laura Hankin. This is very interesting to me because it's like reality, not reality stars. It's stars of like this teen show that was really popular, like sort of Disney Channel stars, and now they're having a reunion many years later. This one's kind of sticking out to me the most at the moment, to be honest. Then we have Blood Debts by Terry J. Benton Walker. Super intrigued by this. It's a YA fantasy, and I was very intrigued before it came out, but then I haven't really heard all that much about it. And then we have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. So I know nothing about what this book is about. I just know I have been seeing it literally everywhere, and I would like to know what all the hype is about. Like maybe I will do one of these as a physical read and then one of them as my audiobook. I really don't know. Like, do I want to physically read The Daydreams? Does that seem like the vibe? Oh my goodness. I have such a struggle making decisions. It's so hard, isn't it, little sir? I have no idea what I want to do. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Okay, so update. The Daydreams actually has a full cast audio, so I'm going to start the audiobook for this one. Hopefully I end up liking it. I did just realize that since I finished the self-help book that I'm reading, I also need to find a new one of that to read. Oh my god, so many decisions, and I am not very good at decisions, but at least I did make a decision for this audiobook, and then I need to figure out what I want to like actually physically read. I'm thinking maybe a contemporary like romance, one of the summer books that I read, because I have so many summer books on my TBR. I think that might be the vibe, but I'll start with this and then figure that out. Done my to-do list for the day, so I'm gonna go back in the pool, but I want to show you, and I'm going to do a video on this, so you're going to see it later, but I wanted to show you the state of my office to give you an idea of why I'm having trouble choosing what to read, because I can't really see what's in here. Yeah, okay. There's a lot happening here, and you can't even see in the closet. Like, oh my god. This is so awful and I want to clean it, but like right now it's hard because my boyfriend's on midnight, so during the day he's sleeping in the guest room, so then I can still have access to our bedroom, and the guest room is right there, so like he would be able to hear everything, so I can't really do it now. But I need to get this done because like I can't even come up here and work. I can't even really come up here because the dogs can't come up here. I mean, they can, but like it would be a nightmare for me because Archer would just be all over everything. Like I am so eager and looking forward to cleaning this up. I'm gonna do a whole video about it, so look forward to that because that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a major transformation. But as I've said in a few videos now, all of the books on the floor pretty much are books that I need to haul. All of the books there, and then I have a whole box of books over here that you can't see. All the books, I can't even show you. No, this way. All the books on that shelf right there. Yeah, those ones also need to be hauled. I just haven't done a book haul in a very long time. So this has been what's been happening, because when I do book hauls, I like try to take notes because I know people obviously want to know what the books are about, but then that makes me like put it off for forever. So I've kind of decided that I'm not going to do that anymore, and I'm just going to sit down and film these freaking book hauls. Because I need to do it. It's either I'm doing it or I'm not doing it and I'm shelving everything so then I can get things cleaned up. But yeah, that's been the situation. But I really want to go in the pool because it's nice and the pool is warmer now. So I'm going to pick out a bathing suit and go in the pool. I have too many bathing suits though because I have 3 drawers here full. I put on makeup this morning because I wanted to motivate myself to film a video like other than this one, but now I just want to be in the pool because I wanted to do some work outside, but it's actually so hot, and the pool says it's hot. Like oh, you can't see it, wait, my little octopus here says that it's like 80. It doesn't feel like 80, let me tell you. It actually feels quite cold. It took me a while to get in here, but I am in now. So for someone who doesn't know what I'm reading presently, I only brought out 1 book and I'm going to try and read it and kind of like float around. I'm gonna put my sunglasses on, float around on my floaty for a little bit. So I brought out Wanderlust by L. Everhart. The concept sounds really fun and I'm excited for it because it's like 2 people who win a trip around the world. And I love travel books for this time of year, but we'll see. I'm just so scared that nothing's going to live up to my expectations. I am like 50 pages into the Daydreams and I'm liking that one, but this will be my physical read. So we'll see. It's actually quite a bit later. Well, not that much later, but it's later. I have been sitting here trying to get into the zone to kind of do a little bit of video brainstorming and stuff like that because I've kind of been pivoting in the way that I've been doing my videos, if you haven't noticed, and I've really been liking it. So I have just been thinking about what kind of content I want to put out and wanted to take some time to dog and the cat are playing, dogs and cat, but they're very noisy. But I wanted to take some time to like kind of be a little bit creative and brainstorm, and I'm excited about it. But I did sit out for a little bit, not that much because the water was oddly cold, but then the atmosphere was very humid, so I wasn't having a great time. So I ended up coming inside, but I did read a little bit of this, not very much at all. I'm like 20 pages in, but I think I'm going to stick with it for now. So I think we have found 2 of our reads. We will need to find a self-help book, but I don't know if I'll do that right now. I think I might kind of give myself a break because I do like going from like book to book and not really having breaks in between. That's just the way that I like reading. But I think with self-help, I don't want to be like overloaded. So I am going to take a little bit of a mini break. But I did want to tell you guys, like, how do I choose what to read next? Because I feel like that's such a hard decision, especially after reading something that you love so much. It can be so hard to decide on what to read next. And I think especially for me, it's really hard because I'm such a mood reader. So I will have kind of a TBR, but I know some people like stick to their TBR, but I cannot do that because everything is pretty much dictated by what mood I'm in. So I kind of go off of the vibes, to be honest, which is not helpful at all, but I'll basically walk up to my bookshelf and be like, what is sticking out to me the most? And lately it's been like the newer books that I've been getting. And I think it's because those ones are at like the forefront of my office because it's such a freaking mess. So those are definitely the ones that I have been reaching for. That's kind of what I do. And I see whatever's sticking out to me. Something that's really good to do is like, there was this try a chapter tag going around a long time ago, but that's essentially where you'll like take 5 or however many you want books and then read a chapter of them and then see what one you end up wanting to stick with. And I found that really helpful. If you don't have like a huge repertoire of books that you're like picking from, like I have a ton on my shelf, so it's easier for me to kind of find something new all the time because I constantly have a ton that I need to read and want to read. But obviously like going to other bookish places for inspiration can be really helpful. Like Goodreads listicles are really helpful for finding new books that might be interesting, but it's honestly just a matter of like figuring out what I'm in the mood for. And I will try to also like not read 2 books that are too similar very close together, because I've had that before where then I have trouble differentiating between them, and that's obviously not ideal. So I like to try and like space it out. And if I'm reading a fantasy, then I like to read a contemporary and so on and so forth. But I am like moving on to another contemporary, actually 2 other contemporaries, but the romance here is quite a bit different than the romance I was just reading. And The Daydreams and The Wishing Game are very different books where like they're both contemporaries. They're kind of different, like adult sort of contemporaries, but they're not the same at all. It's essentially they're just set in the same time period. So I feel okay with that. And yeah, that's kind of just what I do. See what I'm in the mood for and really just go from there. And that's what works for me. I find generally like if I've read something that I really love, taking a break can be the most helpful because I'll need to like kind of clear my mind of that book because I won't be able to stop thinking about it. So just taking that time can be really great too. Okay, my office is still a mess, but it's not as bad. But anyways, I realized that like sometimes because I'm filming on both my phone and my camera, I feel like I'm missing footage, but then I go back and I look for it and there's nothing. So apparently I just never really like did a nice transition for this. So it was getting warmer out and like the sun had been on the pool all day. So the pool was warm again. So I decided to go back in the pool. That's what's about to happen here. I'm putting on sunscreen because I have no desire to get burnt. And also I put the camera up high because I didn't want people to see my body because I'm not comfortable with it at the moment. But oh god, I put way too much sunscreen. I do recognize that like I'm very average. Like I don't know why I have these feelings of bad body image. I mean I do because there's so many expectations for people, especially women, right? But I don't know, it was just kind of like a startling I was like, oh, I feel like I've made so much progress with like self-love, but I still have trouble looking in the mirror. But I feel like body image things, that's like so easy to say that you're okay. But for me, at least, that's something I've always struggled with. So it's something that takes a lot of work to actually do, if that makes sense. I don't know. Basically, I wanted to come on here and let you know that I know that I'm liking my book because like I actually want to go out to the pool and read it. I feel like this is literally a bikini that is just meant for the Instagrams because this just digs into you. It hurts. Anyways, I will back up from the camera and show, yeah, this is what I look like. Yay, like it's a normal thing and I should not be unhappy with it, but this is probably the most vulnerable that I have felt, even though I've been very vulnerable lately. But anyways, I'm going to go outside, read some more of this, and hopefully continue to enjoy it. I feel like for some reason, I have such a hard time establishing a nighttime routine. My morning routine, I've got pretty down. I actually love my mornings. It really just is a great time for me. I don't know why, but I love it so much. I love like making my coffee. I have just figured out how to like make my mornings a time for me and a time that I'm able to really enjoy. But for some reason with night, I struggle more. I feel like for me with a nighttime routine, it's the same amount of steps, but for some reason it seems to take so much more energy. Maybe because it's the end of the day and I'm like exhausted, but I just have such a hard time with it. I've honestly been doing better with it lately though, and part of that is because I've been kind of making sure, I've mentioned this, but I've been making sure to have more established like work hours, and part of that has been also making sure that I'm like in bed by 8. I used to wait to like do my skincare and everything until right before bed, and by that time I was so exhausted. But then I was like, I guess I could do it at like 7 or whatever, and that's totally fine. And it seems so small, but it was like revolutionary for me. But something that I've also learned and had to learn, and it's been a struggle to learn, is that it is okay to like start and end my day with taking that time for myself. And more than it being okay, it's actually something that I really need a lot of the time, and it's really helpful. It's just at nighttime, because I'm just coming off of working, I have a hard time like not getting overwhelmed by the amount of things that I need to do and that I didn't end up getting to that day. But I'm really trying to kind of see every day like on its own, and if I don't get something done that day, obviously it means that like that task just wasn't meant to be done that day, and it's fine. Obviously, if I'm like kind of being, I know the difference between me working and just like not getting to it and me being a little bit lazy with myself, and it's just trying to like give myself grace a little bit more. I don't know if that really makes sense, but like it does to me, you know? We're ready for bed now. I just always feel like so much better and so much, I don't know, I feel like I've done something for myself, and it just makes me feel a lot more stable and like ready for bed, ready for the next day. I don't know, it's just something like I've realized lately. It's actually a Saturday when I'm filming this, so I am staying up kind of a little bit later than I normally would, but now it's like a little bit after 9 and I am ready to just settle down and go to bed. But I think we can officially say that I have picked the next 2 books that I'm reading, because while I was kind of floating in the pool, I got further into this. So I am 50 pages into it, and I'm going to be sticking with it, which is exciting. And then I also am like, I am really wanting to listen to more of the Daydream, so that's a very good sign to me as well. I did make some muffins earlier while I like had gotten out of the pool. I had some overripe bananas again, which seems to be the trend. This is literally the second time that I have done this, but honestly, they just get overripe so quickly. But I had been thinking about that, and then I was making my dinner menu for the week, and I saw on Half Baked Harvest that there was a recipe that she had posted recently for like cottage cheese peanut butter muffins, and I actually bought some cottage cheese earlier in the week, which I've never tried before, but I got it just to try it because I'm trying to get in more protein sources. And I was like, oh, this seems perfect to like put it in a muffin. And I tried one and they are very good. They don't taste very peanut buttery, but they are very good. So that being said, I'm gonna set the mood for a little bit of nighttime reading and actually journaling too. I need to journal. So you can't really see the screen very well, but I have on a little like nighttime lo-fi video, and I will have that on with my little galaxy light, and I will do my journaling for the night and sometimes some reading. It really depends on how I'm feeling, but that's just my favorite way to like unwind and relax. So I'm thinking that I might not do some reading tonight because I am feeling a little bit tired. We'll see. But I think if I do end up doing any reading, it's probably going to be listening to my audiobook, because I keep thinking about that one and wanting to kind of get further in the story and see where it goes. So that being said, that is actually going to be all for this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed having you guys along to help me pick a book after reading something I love so much, trying to find something else that is going to live up to that. Basically, I'm trying to recover from a book hangover, and I think that this will help me out. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in another new video very soon. Bye!